It's time for Comics and Cocktails with Cliff. Tonight's guest, DRUMANCHU. Drew and I will be right back after this important message. Well, we got a major super chat, so I just want to say thank you to Jay Margolis. Here's to another year on YouTube, buddy. Thank you, Jay. I love you, man. Let's see. What is most appropriate and befitting? I think we're going to go with this one.
Who is that dude?
Nate Weir.
He looks like Justin Tucker.
It doesn't matter what he looks like.
Former kicker for the Baltimore Ravens.
Well,
very similar face.
That incredible, because I'm pretty sure this guy's more attractive.
I don't. It's not my wheelhouse, bud.
Anyone who's attractive and did not play football is more attractive than the football version.
Well, he's a kicker, so it's not like he played real football.
Listen, you were on that damn field. You were running. You were legging. You were moving. You were huddling. You were legging. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You did all the things.
It's enough sports talk tonight.
Yeah, that's no. What do you? No. I don't know anything about sports.
You were legging. That guy was out there legging. He was legging so hard.
Well, they're all legging. You know what I call legging?
Sometimes he was arming. The other time he was legging.
No. They rarely arm. They rarely arm because of the way that football is. Right, so they shoulder, they do shouldering, and they do legging, right? But there's no
the Heisman, the stiff arm. That's arming, right? Throwing the ball is arming, right?
Yeah, right. But that's why I said it's rare. That's why I said it's rare. That's why I said it's rare. It's not physical. Like you see them on the field, and you know those big weights that they got my ass to stand on, and then they get these big, sexy young bucks to go and push them and run them across the field, you know? And like that's a good one. That's legging.
When I think of arming, though, I also think of I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pat McAfee. He was a punter for a number of years. Now he's a giant. He's got the biggest sports podcast in the world. He's been a commentator for WWE. But he when he would walk up to kick, right, he would do this Vince McMahon, my balls are too big for me to walk properly strut. And he'd also like strut his arms down as he walked out the kick. It was the most ridiculous thing ever, but always entertaining.
I mean, I will take your word for it and maybe look it up when I'm doom scrolling one night.
Do you know the Vince McMahon walk, though? The grapefruit walk?
I am aware of it, yes.
It's like nobody walks like that.
I've read and I've watched, and he's such a disturbing individual, but I admire his freak level, you know? It's just that, like, that freak level is only allowed in consenting relationships.
Did you watch the was it the HBO or the Netflix? The Netflix.
One.
Okay, the one thing that they really didn't get into a lot was his childhood and his past. Like there are little snippets they give you, but he is one of those figures, one of those iconoclasts at this moment that is so rich, and his backstory is so poor white trash that he's never going to let it get out all the way. Like the things that happened to him in his childhood will never be 100% cleared for the public consumption. And maybe until he dies, like maybe if he writes a memoir, or his kids tell stories after he's gone. But it's one of those things that it's like, it's one of those mysteries. And you can tell that his trauma has shaped who he is, for better or for what is obviously worse in many, many ways. And it's a really interesting portrait of a human being in a way that you have to kind of take a lot of that humanity out of it to really even judge it.
Do you know who else you are describing with these words?
Donald Trump.
Oh, God, no, let's not go there. Neil Gaiman.
I love Neil Gaiman.
I love Neil Gaiman, too. And I'm sad for him. And I still think that unlike other people who really show their monster side, and then you just feel like there's nothing left. I really do think there's some humanity left there, you know. But it's really awful. Vince is so messed up. Yes, Vince is so messed up. But Neil Gaiman and his parents were Scientologists, and they were high-level Scientologists. And he grew up in a really screwed up home. And I don't know if there's a story he wrote about this boy who's trapped by his parents in this house. And if that doesn't scream childhood issues, I don't know what.
Little flowers in the attic action.
No, please. With the exception of the incest, it makes flowers in the attic sound like a freaking fairy tale.
That's got to be a little sound bumper. With the exception of the incest.
Yeah, right. Exactly. With the exception of the incest, it was an excellent story. With the exception
of the incest, I had a great childhood. With the exception of the incest, it was a fantastic vacation.
Yeah. Oh wow! So you have seen the latest season of White Lotus?
I actually have not seen the latest season.
No, I'm making a joke because
I am actually excited to get into it.
Yeah, well, let me tell you. On my to-do list. When you get there, you will see. Oh, with the exception of the incest, that was a great summer. Our chat is all fired up. I love this. Welcome.
A lot of action going on over there.
It is. Everyone's saying hello to each other. People are really loving my shirts, which is great. Thanks, Max. I'm glad you're awake for this.
Yeah, Hawaiian Shirt Friday, right?
I do Hawaiian Shirt Friday in honor of my dad. And
I should have wore a Hawaiian shirt.
The season is closing out, so it's okay. You know what's really nice? Did you know at Heroes Con a bunch of people happen to wear a Hawaiian shirt on Friday, and I told them like how excited I was because of why I wear Hawaiian shirts on Friday, and then they were all just really glad they happened to be wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Nice.
And then one day at work we did Golden Girls Friday, so the girls to make
fantastic
it up to
show, by the way.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And so the girls I work with to make it up to me, they did Hawaiian Friday with me the following week.
Oh, there you go.
So that was really nice.
Let's get into this real quick because before we get into comics, I got to know which Golden Girl are you?
Blanche. I want to be Blanche. Actually,
whore.
Let's be
you
real.
Whore.
Let's be real. Let's be real. I am Dorothy. I want to be Blanche.
Fair enough. I think
right. Because
I want to be Sophia. Really, I'm Rose. I'm just
my mother is Sophia. Right. Also on the flip side, I am Wallowitz and my mother is Wallowitz's mother, depending on who is watching us and the time of day, you know? So
I don't subscribe to the Big Bang Theory. I find it to be reductive of our people, Cliff, and I think it's not proper representation.
I want you to know, I agree with you, and yet there are at least 5 episodes that are wonderful, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nuggets in there. I think that there's a lot of stuff in there that's good, but I want to be up in arms about representation. And as a straight white male, there's not a lot I can really complain about. But I can complain about the Big Bang Theory.
Not just a straight white male, a straight white male nerd and or geek and or dork.
Yeah, I have to delve into my hobbies in order to feel slighted by society. But such is life.
In a way, Cliff is Coco from the Golden Girls. That's a deep cut because Coco was the gay in the pilot episode that didn't see it all the way through, which is a commentary on my life.
If I have to be honest, if I'm any Golden Girls character, it's probably Stan.
Isn't that awful? But you have better hair.
And
Lee is here.
For now.
Big Bang Rules. See, it resonates with a lot of people.
It does really resonate with people. And I think the thing that really gets me is when I would tell people that I collect comic books, and the first thing out of their mouth is, "Oh, Big Bang Theory," and I just want to reach out and strangle them. Like, no, I've seen a vagina. Like, I'm not like. Well, so it's not a disability for me. Yeah, it took them a long time. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, not that long. The only person who took a long ass time was Sheldon.
Raj couldn't talk to women.
No, but then when Raj learned to open up to Amy and the other girls, he realized that he could.
I think Raj is the gay one.
Well, there is a lot of homoeroticism with Raj, but also Raj ends up banging a few chicks. So, maybe he's bi.
Fair enough. Well,
No,
people
I
like
have
to
seen it.
experiment.
Let me guess. I'm Rose. Christina Payne. You know what?
You're
You're
not
the
dumb
best.
enough to be Rose.
No, she's not dumb enough to be Rose, but she's got all of Rose's heart, and that's what matters.
That's true. That's true. The spirit of St. Olaf.
You know? Yeah. Did you ever see that episode that focused on Rose working at the clinic?
My ex-wife was obsessed with that show when it was playing 8 times a night on Lifetime. I used to fall asleep to the Golden Girls and wake up to the Golden Girls.
Sounds like that's you. The way you described it, it sounds like that was the high point of your marriage.
No, there were a lot of very nice high points of my marriage. My daughter's birth being one of them. As much as that relationship is traumatic in many, many ways and horrible in many, many ways, there are things about it I would not change for anything. And my daughter would definitely be one of those things.
I just want to know, like, when you bring a child into this world, at what moment from their arrival on this planet to some point in their childhood, do you say to yourself, I can't wait to introduce them to comics?
I introduced my daughter to as much nerddom as I think I possibly could, and pretty much inundated her in it from a very young age. And I think that as far as like my tastes and my temperament in art and music and all of these things, I think that music was just like, that kid would not sleep unless we were driving in the car for the first couple months. You know, I was working a restaurant management job at the time when she was born, putting in 60 hours a week. And, you know, I'd come home and this kid that wouldn't sleep all freaking day was like handed to me, like, here, you're on. I'm like, well, I just worked a 12-hour shift. I guess I'm going to be great with this kid at this point. So like we would I'd sleep on the couch with her on my chest for literally the first 3 months of her life. After that, it was just like, no, I need to sleep. Let me just put her in the car. We'll drive around. I'll put on some music. And
I love the drive them around method.
Right.
I do.
And I tell you what, my daughter's born in 2004, and probably around late 2004, early 2005, I was really into a lot of like folk punk. Just like I was kind of hitting a stride and, you know, starting to become an adult and needing to hear some more depth to my music than just 4 power chords and you know, crunchy vocals. So I moved on to opened my mind to some other kind of music. And my daughter loves folk punk. It's like her shit, dude. She is so into it. Like, she's like, I'm going to go see these guys that 3 people have ever heard of play this show in Southern PA somewhere. I'm like, all right, have fun, you know. But her musical tastes, I think, were directly related to those drives that I would take with her. And, you know, I've got pictures of her, you know, 4 years old, us going to a WWE show. You know, I've got the, you know, just so many memories of just picking up things at the shop for her when I would go for New Comic Book Day. Yeah, I was, you know, people thought I was a brony because of how many My Little Pony comics I was buying at the time. Like there was like 3 series coming out, and I would get them all because it was something that like I would pick up a variant cover and I'd be like, that's kind of cool, like DeviantArt style variant cover. And my daughter would be all about it, dude. Like I was collecting Adventure Time comics at the time, Bee and Puppy Cat. And those were all for her. She got really into them. Now she supports Kickstarters for creators that she likes. She's buying, she's more of a gamer, I would say, than a comic book collector. But she loves manga and anime and has a bunch of statues. She's an Evangelion nerd. The thing that we have in common the most is probably our fandom of Full Metal Alchemist. I introduced her to that, and she was like immediately right down the rabbit hole.
Okay, but how much did you cry together watching Full Metal Alchemist?
So I rewatch Full Metal Alchemist just about every year. Hey, Great Legend, one of my best friends in the world. What a great dude. Awesome. We watched that together, and the original Full Metal Alchemist is less emotional, more kind of action driven than Brotherhood is. But when Brotherhood, when we watched episode 4 of Brotherhood, which is the Nina episode, the Shoutsucker episode, my daughter is still scarred by that.
Right? It is so brutal. It's like, what have you done? What have you done?
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things that, like, I'll see the meme every once in a while. It's like
and just it's painful. It's painful.
The girl and the dog like doing the combine our powers thing.
Yeah.
And I send it to her, and she's just like, every time she's like, "Fuck you, Dad." Like, all right. We hit a nerve. But
yeah, it's like no, we don't do this here. We don't do this here.
But we clash on things. Like, she's a 21-year-old lesbian girl who's, you know, inundated in her own stuff. So when it comes to pop culture things, like, there are definitely things that we've gotten to a point where she can go, "Oh, I love the Netflix Voltron," and I can look her in the eye and be like, "Not my fucking Voltron. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that Voltron. We have a Voltron, and it's still good. Go back and watch the old one." But like, I
gotta tell you, listen, I'm with your daughter. You know, I'm sorry. I gotta give it up for the gays.
Like, we all have our thing, but like, you know, there are certain things that she has her perspective on, and she just turned 21 on Monday. So she's an adult, and I'm done, you know, like, everything else I do for that child is supplemental at this point. we're in the extra credit phase. But you know, she's a fully formed person with her own ideas and her own opinions, and a lot of that really carries over to the nerd space and the kind of nerd shit that she's into, which to me, it's like, yeah, go off, do your thing, like, go learn about the things you want to learn about, invest your time and your imagination and your attention in the things that, you know, turn your brain on. You know, and my whole goal, I think, in instilling my love of comics for her wasn't so much that, you know, she loved Spider-Man. It was that she understood the power of these stories, the power of the medium, the ability to really convey things through like sequential art and story that is just like, yeah, we had it in cave paintings, but I think it's one of those things that is pretty much a uniquely American thing. And then, like, yeah, there are European comics and there's manga, but all of that manga stems from Western comics, right? That they don't exist without Western comics. European comics don't exist without the big boom of Western comics as well. So it's like, I think like the things that I like to instill upon her, I think it's something that the American culture, and I think it's kind of a weird way to think of it patriotically, but like professional wrestling and comic books, like that's Americana. Like it's something we gave to the world and something to be enjoyed, like and something to be celebrated. So I've pretty much instilled in her like my love of stories, my love of continuity. Like, if I ask my daughter about something she's reading, it's a dangerous prospect, because I could be stuck in the kitchen talking to her about something I don't care about for 4 hours, because she'll just like go off about it. And I realize that's the same way I am about the things I love. And the fact that I've instilled that love into her, I think that is probably one of my favorite things about being a father.
I don't feel like we gave the modern professional wrestling to the world. We just took the baton and ran with it. But also,
we invented it. The carnies in the Midwest. Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. No, we did. No, we didn't. It started with like the Gold Dust Trio in the 1920s. You know,
where was the Gold Dust Trio at?
I think like well, now I gotta Google it. That's what you've done to me.
Wasn't that New York?
No, I think it was like St. Louis. Let's see.
Yeah,
early
that's
matches,
American.
Blah 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 blah. tag teams. God, these pictures are so gay. Do you ever realize that?
How gay pro wrestling is? Yeah, it's the gayest fucking thing ever.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Like people are like, no, man. I'm like, I don't know. It's
my thing is I never really took it too seriously. People would be like, you like fake wrestling? Is like, don't you know that's fake? Is like, no, it's really two dudes in their underpants pretending to fight. That's really what it is. And it's real.
And a soap opera. And it's a soap opera. But people love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got lost in the wrong rabbit hole. I don't know shit. I don't know. I can't cover. The roots of modern professional wrestling can be traced to France around 1830, with Jean Exbroyat creating the first professional wrestler circus troupe in 1848. There we go. Very
in
nice.
1848, those were all still shoot fights. They were contests of attraction, but they were all still shoot fights. They were working. The work of professional wrestling is an American carny tradition.
I'm just saying, I'll
die on that hill.
It all starts somewhere.
Look,
you know,
all that means is via pro wrestling and manga, Japan just wants to be America. Stop eating that rice and get you some wheat.
Oh, that's bullshit. Everybody eats rice.
There's an old stand-up joke that was that half the world is rice and half the world is grains. It's like a rice check cereal.
I don't know. To me, my whole life has been rice and pasta. I don't know anything else.
Pasta. You know? That's the grain.
Sure. You know, but you know, their worlds intertwine. All right.
Aggressive Reactions thinks I'm being too wholesome. Don't worry.
You're being too wholesome? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, then we're going to have to speed right along to the comic of the week. So, although this is not from this week, this was the last issue of New Champions, and I need to continue to profess my love for this book. People keep ignoring it, but I think it's brilliant that it's based on kids that Hydra experimented on. And they're just trying to find their place in the world, as with anybody. And I like that the original four are inspired by Spider-Woman and her battle against Hydra. And then to depress me even more is Spider-Woman's story continued on in West Coast Avengers, and then that ended this week with issue 10. So Spider-Woman's still looking for her son, everybody. and these kids need a home. And this week, new champion White Cat, he debuted in Miles Morales Spider-Man. So I expect to see more of these guys. So shout out to this as my book of the week. Go pick up the final issue of this in West Coast Adventures. Go show some Dead series some love. Go pick up the other books out of the dollar bin while you still can, and enjoy.
Yeah, Fox is doing a really great job on that book. I'm really loving New Champions. And I think that watching one of your videos is probably the first thing that got me into it, because I was not reading that Spider-Woman run. Went back and really enjoyed it. The one thing I will say, let's get off the wholesome train. Jessica Drew does not have enough ass in that book. I don't know who was drawing it, but I mean, come on, give me some hips and some ass on that lady. That's what she was known for years.
At least they gave you some hips and ass covers.
That's true. The interiors left a little bit to be desired. While the action was fun and the stories were good.
Action was fun.
Yeah, we had good characters. I think the New Champions coming out of that is a really, really good run.
The reveal of who Titan really was an action-packed issue and like totally worth the price of entry. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, what else is Fox writing right now? He's doing some like more mainstream Marvel stuff right now, isn't he?
Yes, he is, because he's getting there, man. He's getting there.
I think that they're realizing the level of continuity he kind of was building in this own corner of Marvel. That, like, let's be honest, Spider-Woman, New Champions, nobody gives a shit what he's doing over there. So do whatever you want and make it good.
Yeah, but this is the thing about him and Steve Orlando, because a lot of my friends criticized them when they were working on X-Men books, because both of them have a very, very strong comic book lore knowledge. But what a lot of my friends were complaining about was like the characters don't sound like themselves, right? And I was like, okay, I guess I get that. And it's funny because like Like, I remember when Steve wrote Batman the Shadow 2, I told him, I said, what a great job you've done. And Damian sounds like Damian, right?
Yeah.
And I had never given that too much thought. And then I was, but then like when this other friend of mine was like bringing up these points, I was like, oh, I'm like, I don't give it too much thought. You got to tell a story that blows my mind in a bad way for me to go like, wow, you don't know how to write this character. You're out of touch. Hush 2 is an excellent example. Example.
Why is Hush 2 a thing?
Money.
Yeah, but if they wanted money, wouldn't they have just put out a better product more people wanted to buy?
No. Why? It's a money grab. It's like, we brought back Jeff Loeb. We bringing you Jim Lee on art. You know you guys are going to eat it up for the art. Voila.
The art isn't even good.
It's not his. And the thing is, like, I think his level of art is still the same, but I think the team that they have on it is awful. You know?
I don't really know. Like, I opened that book and I want to see Jim Lee art, and I don't really even know what I'm looking at.
Well, I mean, it's there, but like some pages are awful. The whole battle with Batman and Bruce, not only is it visually off, but again, Barbara doesn't even sound like Barbara when you're reading it.
Yeah, well, I really hate to say it because Jeff Loeb has written a lot of really good stuff. But outside of Sam Alexander's Nova, outside of that Nova, which is based on his son, since his son has passed, his writing has been not on the level where it was before. I don't want to shit on everything he's done because I'm sure there's some gems in there.
No, it's just you're absolutely right. Let me tell you,
it's not what it was.
No, since his son passed, it has never been what it was. And though you're absolutely right, the one time he struck gold again was Sam, because again he based it on his son. And
I really love that book, that Sam Nova book.
Yeah.
It's like in the same way that New Champions is kind of like opening these new heroes to the world of Marvel slowly but surely. Like they get a couple of bigger bads in there, and they got, the old champions show up to kind of give them their little challenge and prove yourselves to be the new champions kind of deal. There's this really great feeling in that Nova book where it's basically like, here's Sam, he's a kid, we're going to introduce all of Marvel Cosmic to a new audience through a new character's eyes, and there's real fun energy to that I really, really enjoyed. And I'm kind of sad that Nova's not really doing anything these days. Sam,
well, we've got Imperial now,
right? So we'll see where that goes and how much he gets to play around.
Yeah, well, we've got Richard again, so that's interesting. And
good old Dick Ryder.
Listen, Dick Ryder, man. Like some of my favorite stories. One of my favorite stories is him hanging out with Spider-Man and him going like, "Wait, you're younger than me? What? You're older than me?" I was like, "Oh my god, I love this so much."
They're basically the same guy.
Yeah, no, they are, but the fact that Richard Ryder also thinks Spider-Man is older than he is, and Spider-Man thinks that Richard is younger than he is, and it just shows clearly the dynamic, because whenever they do a team up, Spider-Man's strategy and experience excels. Obviously that's different now because Richard's been through far more and he can really hold his own. I know, it's true. So, your book of the week, sir.
My book of the week also came out last week. I did not have a chance to go to the shop and pick up my pull list this week, which is kind of dwindling at the end of this month. I think next week's a big week for me. So I'll just have to add on the tab from this past week to next week. But Marvel All-on-One, The Thing versus the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
I absolutely love this. This is Ryan North, who's been writing One World Under Doom and Fantastic Four and so many other things right now for Marvel. But I really enjoyed this because every page is a splash page. It's got this very bombastic feel to it. There's a story in there, but like they don't take the time to give you panels. Screw margins. What do we need gutters for when we can shoot up a giant hulking rock monster of the Thing just busting through every page. It's exactly what I wanted out of this book that I didn't know I wanted. McGinnis on the art, just fantastic stuff. You got what is this? The cover alone, just, I mean, it just tells you what this book is. It's the Thing clobbering everybody in his path, and that's really all you need.
And it was wonderful. I had such a good, and it was
I
all
enjoyed
splash pages. It was so good.
Yeah, and we were talking about this before we went live. It's like an art book with a story. Like, why aren't we doing more of this? Why isn't there more of this on the market? I think that there are certain characters that sell variant covers very well that nobody could tell you what the hell their books are about. Like, please tell me what the latest story in Lady Death is. Please, for anybody. Does anybody know what's happening in Vampirella? No, but you know what the cover looks like? It looks like blood-covered boobies. Hey, give me a little bit of story and give me 20 splash pages of blood-covered boobies. You think that wouldn't sell? That would sell like hotcakes.
I'm counting on it.
But yeah, Marvel all-on-one. And if they should do this all-on-one for different characters, when they probably will when the fine folks at Marvel find a gimmick that sells something, they're going to run it into the fucking ground.
Well, if this actually did sell well, we will find out.
We'll see.
We will see. In the meantime, Boner Jams, in search of Dr. Hootie Hoot Owlman, heard he is collapsing vaginal infrastructures throughout Europe currently, smooches to all. So he's obsessed with Dr. Von Hoot from the Spiral Dimension.
DVH. I haven't seen him in a little while.
And and Boner James has created his own entire fictional world of Dr. Von Hoot's, adventures. And, it's fantastic. But anyhow,
out there stretching the ladies to their capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's my thank you, Boner Jams. Christopher's here.
Says testing the infrastructures of vaginas like that dude lifting weights.
Yeah, no, that dude is testing the infrastructure of other walls. That's for sure.
Jesus,
those are other interiors that he is testing to the max.
Oh my!
I support him. I support anyone who wants to test the interiors. I've signed up for such experimentation.
Better you than me in that case.
Of course.
I haven't done the prerequisite preparations for such things.
Christina doing the work. And Naman, we love you, man.
What's up, Naman?
Ooh. All right, I think that means that we have to double down on our show and tell.
All right.
And break into our Bussy Busters. So my Bootsy Buster for this week is something I didn't think I was going to own because, and now I'm going to have to buy like a whole plastic and bag and board and everything for it. But I'm happy to have it. It's the original DC and Marvel presents Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, look at that.
And I just adore this. I won this on an Instagram thing. I'm super excited about it. It came with some other Treasury Edition books, but this one came in fair shape.
Nice.
I'm really impressed.
It's very clean.
It is. And it looks really good.
Oh, the pages are a lot whiter than the outside would lead you to believe too. So
exactly.
You got a little bit of oxidation on the edges, but pages still look pretty white.
But it is solid. I'm half I don't know. I'm half tempted to get it slabbed. I don't even know, but I love it. I'm just gonna bag and board it, and order a box. And speaking of getting it bagged and boarded, don't forget you could head over to BCW, where you can get a deal for yourself on Comic Supplies Treasure Edition, Silver Age, Modern Silver, Bronze, Copper, you name it, they got it over at BCW. Use promo code Cliff Comics to receive 10% off of your order. It helps support my channel, and I very much appreciate it. Thank you. And Drew.
So I recently upgraded this book. I had it in like kind of a beat up dollar bin copy. But this is one of my favorite characters, and her reemergence as Captain Marvel in Avenging Spider-Man #9 shows Carol here in all her glory. The little sidekick Spidey, he's there as a little bit of support.
Yeah.
But this Terry Dodson cover here is one of my favorite books in my collection. I loved having a beat up copy of this book because I could say, hey, I didn't pay anything for it. This one I got a good deal on, but I certainly didn't not pay for it. But yeah, I love Carol. I think that she's getting a bad rap in a lot of different areas. But
Civil War 2 did nothing.
No, and you know what? As much as I really enjoy that series, that event, it's just straight up character assassination. It's like
it is.
She's just a cunt for no reason in that book.
I could never enjoy that series. It was just so.
The art is phenomenal.
No, that's it, and it's
yeah.
And it reminds me of my other favorite thing to hate in comics. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I'm not
where the art is phenomenal and the story is absolute trash, and I don't understand what's wrong with people. They're like Mark keeps trying to sell me on the dramatic moments that are worthless, and I'm like, no, because it's all crap and it's all for crap, and it led to more crap that I was not interested in. It was a craptacular crap fest producing more crap. And that's also how I feel about Civil War 2.
There are things about Civil War 2 that I will go to my grave defending. And it's very different. So it's like I was reading just about every major Marvel title at the time. And if you read Civil War 2 while you're reading Steve Rogers' Captain America, where he says Hail Hydra at the end of the first issue, if you're reading those books concurrently, Civil War 2 is so much better. It's so much better. If you read that book knowing what Cap's intentions are, instead of him just kind of being a sounding board for the Avengers during that story, it adds so much more to it. And I don't necessarily think that Bendis had any idea that Spencer was making his story better. But I feel like there's a lot of Marvel events where if you're reading the right books at the right time, somebody would be like, what a crap event. I'm like, yeah, you just weren't invested enough to really appreciate what it was. So the same thing with Secret Empire, right? When Cap takes over and becomes like supreme leader of the Hydra Nation that US becomes, right? If you were reading Jerry Duggan's Deadpool during that time period, that story has so much more weight to it. Because the things that Deadpool did to honor his hero, Captain America, that ended up being done in the name of Hydra without his knowledge, absolutely broke that character. Like, he killed Phil Coulson. Why? Because Cap wanted him to. Why would Cap want him to kill somebody unless it was a good thing to do? So it's one of those things where the proper context makes these events and these large stories, gives them a perspective. I think that if you're not reading all that, I can completely understand getting into 8 issues of something and being like, this is just too big and meandering and it goes all over the place and it changes all the status quo and what happened to my favorite characters. And I can completely understand.
But the thing is, it's so rare that comes together. Like, even the side stories for Dark Crisis just pissed me off,
Yeah. Well, I'm of the school of thought that crises are the worst kind of events.
Well, the thing is Crisis on Infinite Earths and Infinite Crisis are both very good, and they do what they're supposed to do. They actually tell you a cool action-packed story and produce a bit of a reboot, right? 0 Hour, same thing. I find 0 Hour a little more lackluster of the bunch, but it did what it had to do, and it gave me my JSA back. And it gave me James Robinson's Starman. So how dare I complain, right? But Heroes in Crisis and Dark Crisis set up other things that I also don't really appreciate. Like I read a bunch of that stuff, and all the time I'm reading it, I'm like,
I had this conversation with Mark probably a couple months ago where I was just absolutely taking a dump on Heroes in Crisis, and he's just like, "But Wally," I'm like, "What do you mean, but Wally? They destroyed Wally's character." Yeah, but afterwards, it's like, no. After you do that, it doesn't inspire me to want to read more stories about a character you just ruined. Like
the best thing they can do is like, oh, thanks to this last time travel thing, that didn't happen.
Right.
And I love that. I love it. That's the best.
I also love people who try to make Heroes in Crisis this thoughtful story about mental health. And it's like, yeah, I could buy that if every page wasn't drawn by Clay Mann and every character wasn't absolutely dripping with sex, right? It's like, I gotta see.
Well, there were some very good talking head panels in it. But then, right, every time we left the talking heads, it's like, oh, look at the body on Harley and all that other stuff. Yeah,
it's like Clay Mann. Say what you want about his art. I think that he is extremely talented, but he draws a hot dog vendor on the street with 8-pack abs and glistening sweat on his happy trail. It's like that. Not everybody has to be a fucking sex symbol. Like I get.
Listen. I don't get enough of that in my artistic life. So let Clay Mann do what he has to do.
Well, I also feel like it's very like reminiscent of like early like Gen 13. It's like, what's the story? Is the story Fairchild's boobs are sitting on someone's head? Because like it's kind of hard to read when I'm distracted by all this boobage. Like, is it a cheesecake book? Is it a superhero story? It can be both, but it's really leaning one way and not the other.
You know, my dream come true is to have my Beefcake book that is a superhero story. Oh my God, I want to try and prove you wrong, but he drew this piece of art featuring Kite Man, and Kite Man looks sexy, and I'm like, oh no. But like, you know what?
It's like, well, here's a laughable side character. Why is his bulge so fucking big and defined? What's going on, Clay Man? Like, why do we need to see every line on his dick through his tights?
Listen, first of all, he didn't do that, but I wish he did. And then,
all right, a little bit of hyperbole there, but
and then, oh my God, his Windhorn covers, you know, Helena Windhorn. Oh my God, so beautiful. Oh my God, I'm falling in love with Clay Mann all over again. Oh my God,
I just remember that issue of Tom King's Batman he did where Batman and Catwoman were like on a beach, and he had Batman was wearing his his Matches Malone mustache. Like, it's just like beefcaked out with the mustache. I'm like, all right, this is definitely.
Oh my God,
this is for the gay demographic for sure.
I need to. Well, wait, how about General Zod's ass? You want to talk about?
You lost me. You lost me in General Zod's ass.
Doing it for the gays. Let me tell you. Look at General Zod's ass. You know,
who does he think he is? Nightwing.
Right, you know. Well, I mean, like, Kryptonians can have ass. Look at Power Girl.
That's true. Nobody's looking at Power Girl's ass. She don't have a window on it.
Yeah, but let me tell. I mean,
that ass window to go to their boob window.
If you catch that ass, you're not gonna miss it. But yeah, it's so funny. I didn't give much thought to Zod's ass, and then I found it, and I'm like, oh wow. Look at my God.
Speaking of Nightwing's ass, I think that DC really lost an opportunity making Tim Drake the bisexual Robin when Nightwing was already a gay icon. Like,
no, because you know what? Because they know that the straights can't handle it. They could never handle it.
And they couldn't handle it. Look, people were going to freak out about it either way. Right.
Right. But the thing is,
I think the problem is with Tim fans is they just did it because they didn't know what to do with Tim, because New 52 came around and basically timeline wise made Tim obsolete. We got a young Robin. We've got an old Robin. We don't need we've got I was once dead. Now I'm an anti-hero Robin. We don't need a fourth fucking Robin. Like, it's at that point he becomes an also ran, and they were like, well, what do we do with him? well, we might as well do something to shake up the character and, you know, at least, you know, do something interesting with him. But I think that story-wise, like Tim's relationship with Stephanie definitely has him being a straighter individual than Nightwing's rocky relationship with every girl he's ever been in a relationship with. Just my thoughts. I think they just picked the wrong one.
Oh my God. I definitely think Jason Todd is more bisexual, because the Red Hood and the Outlaws, where he went to prison undercover with Midnighter, that dripping bisexuality.
Yeesh.
Dripping.
Yeah, but who had a better relationship with Midnighter? I think the Grayson book had Dick be pretty close with Midnighter.
Yeah, no, it was good, but like it didn't get as hot and sexy as the you know, the Red Hood. But I don't know. The thing is, like, they love to tease that, and they love to gay bait, and this is all corporations, right? And then at the end of the day, they just deliver whatever. Tim has a chunk of fan base that has always pegged him as bisexual, right? That segment is happy. Of course, that same segment that pegged him as bisexual wanted him with Connor Kent. And they're like, DC's like, look, we can't grant every wish. And then they're like, you know what? Let Superman's biological son be bisexual.
Which I think was the wrong choice as well. Connor Kent should have been, let Connor be gay or bi or whatever, because at the same time, what is Connor doing? Nothing. He's not doing anything. They didn't have him doing anything. Not until the last Suicide Squad book came out was he like really doing anything.
And that wasn't Connor. That was Match.
Oh, I didn't read it. I just saw.
And
saw
it. I have part of. Do I have their fight behind me?
But like when you look at like when when Bendis was doing Young Justice and they brought Connor back with that Metropolis Kid type costume.
Yes.
Look, I think that's a cool costume, but I mean, in retrospect, it's a little gay. It's a little gay. You know, he's a little Metro. You know, he's got that kind of femininity to him.
Look when he was birthed. He was birthed in that whole Metro era,
right?
/ punk rockish thing.
I think they missed the boat. I think Nightwing is clearly the gay icon.
Yeah, but I don't
lean into it.
They couldn't handle the backlash. That the original Robin is bisexual, it would just be too much.
Let me tell you this much right now. Of all the things they've done to Dick Grayson, right? They took his identity away. They made him a spy. That book happened to be really good. But overall, the reason why they did that was because editorial couldn't handle his name being Dick. And they're like, we don't need him. He's like, what are we doing with this Nightwing? Get him out of here, right? So they wrote him off, right? They finally bring him back. He's getting a nice little run to do his thing in Rebirth. And what do? They shoot him in the head and make him Rick Grayson, which was fucking terrible. It was bad. I mean, we did get that Redondo and Taylor run of Nightwing, which was really good.
Amazing. But
I just, in my opinion, is making the dude like penis any worse than making him Rick fucking Grayson? No, it's not. It really isn't.
Yeah, but just because you and I agree doesn't mean that like they don't have valid fears of their audience.
And as far as the Superboy thing, I am distraught over what they've done to Jonathan Kent.
Well, just because they aged him up.
Just because they aged him up, and it has nothing to do with his sexuality. I want his sexuality to be like, I think that girl's pretty. Maybe she'll give me a kiss because I'm a fucking child. Like, I don't want it. I want Super Sons to be Super Sons. You know what I mean? And I like that Damian's kind of got that growing up into what he's doing currently. You know, I like that. But Jesus, Super Sons is the best that Damian and John ever were. It's the best John will ever be.
That's why they keep making little side return adventures to it.
Right. But I think my love for that is Peter Tomasi, and I like Damian as a character, and Peter Tomasi pretty much single-handedly made Damian a likable character.
He did. You know what I want from Peter Tomasi? Just write the boys as they are now. Let's see if he could tell a good teenage story with them.
But is John even still a teenager?
Yes, he is.
He just seems so much older.
Yeah, no, he's like 18 now.
Well, yeah. I read that first Superman of Tomorrow or whatever, the Son of Superman or whatever, and it was Tom Taylor and did not land for me.
I have the entire collection. I have 2 of the slabs next to me. Yes,
I really wanted to like it, and I didn't.
So I did like it, but what really pissed me off is they ended it early. Then, like all their queer characters, they don't know what to do with him, and they put him on all these side adventures, and some of them are good, and some of them are like him in the Injustice universe was actually a pretty good story.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that. And I like how it fits into a place in the Injustice timeline where maybe he could have had an impact on that Superman, but he doesn't, but like it fits into the timeline. But yeah, the most recent thing is he was in Secret Six with Dreamer, and it's written by Nicole Maines, who played Dreamer on television, right? And I don't think she handles his voice too well, but the story sticks a landing, but John loses his boyfriend in the process. The boyfriend's like, no, like screw Dreamer. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what she says. Like, my mother is dead because of her actions, and like, I'm done with all of this. And he's like, no, like, he's like, Jay, talk to me. He's like, no, he's like, you're not my Superman. And then just vanishes. And then it ends with the rest of the Secret Six, like all staring at John, out in the rain with his electric blue scattering everywhere, screaming to the heavens because like everything he ever wanted is gone. And he has a flashback to, I just want things to be like they were. And he flashes back to joyous, young John Kent, right?
His first love, Damian Wayne.
His first was being
his first love, Damian Wayne.
Yeah, basically. And then there's like a flash to him meeting Jay, right? And then like all of that is just gone. There's just like, he's like, oh, there's just no getting this back. And it leaves him in a sad place. But, of course, I want what everybody wants. Take my favorite characters and make a great book with them and put a phenomenal team on it. But like, if wishes came true, that would be every book on the stands.
I always tell my daughter, if wishes were fishes, the ocean would be full of dreams. So you know what? And I don't think that I don't need my favorite characters to be serviced by the greatest creators. I just find it hard sometimes when I will connect with a tertiary character who one writer seems to have a good vision for what their voice is, and you get a very clear character arc from them. You get very clear character traits, and then they end that run. And then editorial goes, well, let's send him to space and age him up. And then, let's have him come back. And it's like, now he's gay. It's like, these are things that don't seem to have some congruence to what the character was doing before. Whereas if you give me 3 more years of Super Sons, and then when Jonathan is, hitting 13, he starts staring at Damian a little bit weird. And Damian can continually be like, not gonna happen, buddy. Like, that's fine. Give me that. Give me a will they, won't they with the Super Sons as teenagers. And if it's the same character, I wouldn't give a shit about where the story's going as long as it honors those characters. But I think when editorial goes, well, we got too many Superboys running around, we got to find a way to make one of these guys fuck off to space for a while. It's like, it doesn't do anything to service the character, and it does really nothing for the fans of that character.
They did a fairly decent story with, in Man of Tomorrow, Superboy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they did send him into space, but they told a decent story there.
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing.
And then it was over. And then, like, it needed to continue to go somewhere,
Yeah.
and like, but no. I
think all we can really hope for as comic book fans is that the stewards of these characters respect them enough to honor where they came from and give us some sort of reasonable path for them to get where they are. And is it a lot to ask? I don't think so. But when you really look at the nuts and bolts of how many different creators' visions are going into these things, yeah, it might be a little hard to manage. But I just don't think that these kind of editorial things would have slipped through Jim Shooter's Marvel. You know, it'd have been like, well, what the fuck are we doing? Make it make sense, you know?
Yeah. Well, he was difficult, you know, and like
that stringent structure though breeds a better continuity.
I also want to say some of the best stuff we got is because Louise Simonson was there and just said, fuck it, I'm doing it my way, and he can yell at me later.
Yeah, for real.
And like, so you have to remember, like, for every person like him, who certainly changed the format, I can't deny it. And in fact, Sunday night when I'm on with Magic Lasso, we're going to be talking about heroic consequences and the writing of Paul Levitz, but I'm going to bring in the inspiration of Jim Shooter into the stories I've chose to review. So catch that.
Keep my eyes peeled.
Yeah, but basically, like, I love how he changed it up. And I told people that they're like, yeah, I read the introduction of Feral Lad and Princess Projecta and Nemesis Kid and Karate Kid. It's all right. And I was like, but if you read Adventure Comics, if you read the last 2 issues of Adventure Comics and then read Jim Shooter's first 2 issues, it's such a dramatic change, right? So I'm going to give him that. I'm not going to give him some other things that, you know, he was difficult about. It's too bad that he passed away just when when the restraining order he had against me was lifted. The
timing is odd.
The timing was awful. And, you know, I was hoping to see him at Heroes because I was like, yay, I'm free to see him again. And like, no. Yeah.
To John's comment, though,
yeah,
I don't think that it's unrealistic. When you think about a major event comic, you're talking about like 8 issues, right? That's 8 months. That's, you know, 3/4 of a year. If we got 3/4 of the year in one story that's supposed to span the, you know, the universe, thinking about long-term story planning off of that should not be that much of a stretch.
And the thing is, I'll tell you a time where they did it mostly right recently. They gave us Blood
Hunt.
They gave us Blood Hunt, right? Which I completely jumped into Blood Hunt because Blood Hunt didn't promise me to be the greatest thing ever, right?
Fair enough.
It just promised me to be Marvel versus vampires, right?
It was like Marvel versus vampires, and if you want more blood, we've got a red band version.
No. I'm not including
the gimmicks.
I'm just talking about a story.
Yeah,
right?
it was not sold as a major event.
Right. And then it turned out to be a solid story.
Agreed.
And then it turned out to play into a major event.
Agreed.
It's like, oh no, I'm keeping the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme. I told you I'll give up the title of Sorcerer Supreme when I've saved this earth, and I'm not done saving.
I ain't done yet.
Yeah, and I was like,
yeah, no, I love that.
That was a mic drop. That was a moment. That was everything. And it was a character who absolutely deserved and earned that moment. Years of him repeatedly pulling this trifling shit. So when he did it, it was amazing. You know, unlike some characters who do years of trifling shit, and all I feel like it did was undermine their character. I'm looking at you, Amanda. And Mark and I disagree on so many things.
I think that another event that did really well with that was Avengers Standoff. Which
again, quiet, didn't make big promises, turned out to be
led into so many giant things going on all across the Marvel universe that it's like it really shook up everything. And like when you look at it, it's like, oh well, it's kind of, you know, this weird little story where the only thing that happens at the end is Steve Rogers gets his, you know, super soldier serum and he gets de-aged again.
Yeah.
It's like, well, where's this gonna go? Well, the answer is everywhere.
I love it though. Steve is there. Falcon Cap is there. Bucky's there.
Mm-hmm.
Jane Foster's there. You know, it's all sorts of stuff is happening in there. We got there's howling commandos involved. You got everything happening in that. Everything. You know, it's the story you didn't know you were going to enjoy.
Exactly. Give me a cosmic cube and the Red Skull any day.
Yeah, although I too am a petty bitch. I hate Hydra Cap so much. It outweighs all the other good that story tells. Because
you're not a Hydra Cap fan?
Oh God, no, never.
Oh, it's the best run on Captain America.
No, I can't, because it defiles everything I care about. Yeah, he's careful not to say nerd holes around me. Hey, Bleeker.
What's up,
Listen, Bleeker? It's just too much. It's just too much. And the fact that technically, the good Captain America that we have running around now is a creation of the Cosmic Cube.
Technically, they both are.
Are they?
Yeah. Steve came back as Captain Krakoa.
Yeah, I know, but he's still himself. Like, he still knows he was Hydra Cap. You know.
Here's the thing: is the Cosmic Cube rewrites reality, right? So even if it wasn't fake, even if one was fake and one was real, one was the original and one was a fake, or the other way around, it doesn't matter, because the rewriting of reality makes reality what it is.
Right, but it didn't rewrite it completely, because Hydra Cap still knows he was still experienced being Hydra Cap. The Hydra thing, the Secret Empire took place, you know? Yeah. So like that, it didn't wash it away.
I would have not liked if they just washed it away. I think it needed to have lasting.
I know washing it away is the biggest cop out, but this is also not the greatest answer.
I don't know. I think that if you want to examine what makes somebody a great villain, you take the best of us as a hero and you flip it, right? And
yeah, but that works with somebody like Iron Man.
It wasn't somebody like Iron Man. It was somebody who's better than Iron Man.
It was, yes.
Captain America is the best of us, right? He does everything with the best of intentions and with his whole heart, and knowing what is right within himself. And the cool thing about him lifting Mjolnir and being worthy as a villain is the fact that whatever his point of view was, whatever his motivation was, his reason for doing it was still pure of heart, right? It was the illustration that this character, as Steve Rogers, really believed what he was doing, which made it more scary, which made it more impressive, everything he did, in my opinion. That first issue of Secret Empire, where he's basically like, oh, well, here's how we're going to overthrow everything, right? He plants the Chitauri egg, has the Chitauri invading Earth, right? They work on the shield to put the shield around the Earth, all to just take all the cosmic level, fuck you, I'm Captain Marvel, I'm just going to fly through your spaceship bullshit, and be like, nope, you're out there. You can't. Oh, you want to fuck up my plan here? You can't. You're out there. I got rid of you. And it's like all the heroes in New York, all the troublemakers in New York. We'll just put them in the Dark Force dimension. Let's just put them in a bubble of darkness, and they can't get out. So it's like, oh, well, not only is Captain Marvel not going to fly through the White House while I'm chilling there being Hydra, Daredevil's not going to get his uppity blind ass in my shit either. Like,
you make this sound so much better than when Amanda Waller did it. And
it is, because it's Marvel, and Marvel's better than DC.
No. And recently their writing is typically stronger, especially when it comes to My Precious Spider-Man. But not Ultimate Spider-Man. Good job, Hickman. But like whatever. I by the way, I used to love Amanda Waller for who she was. This version of her is basically, Hydra Cap Amanda, as far as I'm concerned, where everything is so over the top and menacing, and I'm going to talk to United Planets so that nobody will come and help you from beyond. And unlike what you described, where Captain America seemed to have plotted what was needed to be done, she does things that have no explanation. Like Trigon threatens her, but there's something on her desk protecting her from Trigon, which is absurd, because, Trigon is like
the devil,
dark side level tier, right? Like these are top tier freaking villains. So I was never sold on it.
I pulled this out because I thought I might have shared it as part of my show and tell tonight, but I decided to go with a different theme. But yeah, my initial theme is going to be books that everybody hates that are actually fucking dope.
Well, I will say this:
I love this story.
Fabulous art team.
I love that story. I think that Nick Spencer working on Steve Rogers and Secret Empire. Secret Empire had some editorial stuff at the end that made it a little clunky, but I think that as a whole, it absolutely works on every level. There's one issue that I think doesn't work with the rest of the story, and it's my favorite issue of that story where they go have dinner with Ultron Hank Pym at like in the Arctic Circle, and it's just like it's just a goofy tongue-in-cheek them throwing barbs at each other the entire time. And it's just like, it's like an aside for the story that doesn't need to happen. But the conversation in that book is just, it's top notch.
I may cave in and give it a shot someday.
Well, you let me know, because I will reread it along with you.
Well, yeah, since everybody was on board with rereading Iceman with me, we all saw how that
I reread the first 12 issues of Iceman, and that is all I can give it. That is the only level of respect I can give it. The Astonishing Iceman miniseries that came out of, I guess, was a Fall of Krakoa. That was good. I enjoyed that. But yeah, man, that Cinegrace Iceman is just, it is dreck. It is just, here's where it turns for me. We talked about, the Tim Drake thing, and the Jonathan Kent thing. Iceman is not one of my favorite characters, right? I don't have an issue if they want to make Iceman gay, but the way they did it was disingenuous to the character of Iceman, in my opinion.
Well, I blame Bendis on that one. He handled it so.
I think that was a really clunky handling of it, having Gene on him and all that, and then having him deal with, his coming of age story while he's an adult and also a teenager at the same time was kind of a weird take.
Yeah.
But like Bobby went from being like a quip machine where he would just say the goofiest shit and make jokes while he was fighting bad guys, to the height of his jokes being, "Yes, queen." Like, no, that's not, like, Bobby doesn't automatically become a gay stereotype because he is gay. Like, that's not who Bobby ever was, right? And I think that it's such a departure to honor when you're making that kind of change to the character. I think there is something to be said for honoring the demographic that you're going for. But I think to me, it's that Big Bang Theory thing again. It's like, you don't have to be a Yas Queen kind of guy to be a homosexual.
This is where I'm going to defend it. I'm going to defend it as a gay man coming out late in life, which is exactly what Bobby is, right? And the awkwardness that comes with it, and Bobby is struggling to fit in. If you notice, Bobby isn't literally just hanging out in every gay arena he possibly can. He's not doing that, right? He's trying to find himself, trying to go on dates, trying to meet guys, trying to repair parts of his past. I think it's a decent story, but you're right. If you're looking for the Bobby that we knew with the great quips and everything, he doesn't deliver so much on that. Although I found his banter with Dakin to be fun, but obviously it
takes far too long to get to where, like, towards the end of the 12 issues I reread, it gets better, right? As far as Bobby kind of falling into being Bobby again. But it's just, it takes too long, and they make him jump through all these character hoops where he's like, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. I think that like, I don't want to be dismissive, but I think that puts far too much weight on his sexuality and no weight on his character. And I think that is his sexuality a part of his character?
Yes.
Yes, and it can be. But I think that him being the jokey flirt with every girl that walks around, like kind of horn dog, does not automatic. Like he wouldn't one day be like, well, I like dongs instead of holes. Let's go ahead and change my entire personality around that. I don't think that's how people like. It's, to me, it's disingenuous and it's not realistic to the character that he's been since the 60s.
The issue where they get together to mourn Natasha as the champions, I think it explains it very well, where that personality that he had, where he's hitting on girls all the time, was a reflection of who he thought his father expected him to be. Right? And now he goes, wow, here's this woman who I really respected, who was a friend, and my first interaction with her was all this horrible flirty shit I said.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really well handled and a good reflection of him. But then again, we have other Iceman stories you put on the hands, like Steve Orlando's amazing Iceman. He's like rescuing dudes on the street and like giving them a kiss and then vanishing into fog. And by the way, I'm pretty sure Bobby is the top when we look at his relationship with Romeo. I'm just saying. And so he might still like
not delve that deep into.
Yeah, well,
pun intended.
I'm just saying, some of us, we want to know.
I just open. I think there was a way that they could have done it where he was more, he was more Bobby, where it's like he was flirty and grab assy, but with dudes. That's fine.
That would be astonishing, Iceman, and we would get there,
which I enjoyed.
You did enjoy it, you read it?
I read Astonishing. I read that when it came out because I was reading everything at the time. But like the Sin of Grace run, I fell off of it, and I think I went back and read maybe 6 more issues than I did in the first place, and all it did was confirm that I made the right decision for myself and not reading it. And it's I would also say that I don't have an issue with representation, like from my own perspective, right? I don't look at the world and go, well, that's clearly doesn't represent me and I can't get into that. Like I have this understanding that not everything's for me, right? But like I also don't look at media and go, why isn't anybody giving me? You know what I mean? And I can understand from her perspective wanting a character that looks like you, or a character that embodies your qualities, or an underserved segment of the population is a certain way. Why don't we have characters that embody that? And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I do think, though, that there's a way to do that still honors the 60 years of existence that this character has had, where nobody, like, okay, people can go back and be like, here are the spots where I think Iceman was gay when he was being written in the 80s. Guess what? No, they're not. They're not. It's people are projecting, because
they're not, because I happen to have spoken to creators who kept trying it and kept getting shot down, including Gail, who was trying to do it in X Factor and kept getting shot down.
Well, maybe it's there in some spots, but like they weren't writing Iceman in the 60s as a gay man.
I'm not saying we're going that far back, but yes,
but the proponents of Iceman's always been gay will always cite things from that time period as well. It's like you're projecting. I
have never been on board with Iceman has always been gay, but I have been on board with Bronze Age Iceman was the beginning of gay Iceman. It just kept getting shot down and pushed aside, and freaking what's his name, that crazy writer Chuck Dixon, he was addressing it, and
Chuck Dixon is he's got his ups and his downs.
He does, but even he was addressing it, and they still wouldn't let him have it, right? And North Star's murder, when Wolverine, was mind controlled by Hydra and killed North Star, like Bobby was selected to give the eulogy for North Star, and when he's reading what he wrote, he's like, I am still do not understand why he chose me to be here, or why he wanted me to speak, And anyhow, it's all interesting. And those stories, which are early 2000s, late 1990s, they set the stage for coming out late in life, Iceman. But we gave it, the job was given to the wrong person who had two opportunities to address it. And both times, I think he didn't do a great job. One was Gene outing him. And then the other was, what was it, X-Men 600, where the two Icemen have the talk, you know? And older Iceman is like, oh my God, why does younger me have it so much more together? You know? And but again, it's because older you know, went through that life of suffering and internalizing, and like all the elements of the truth of that situation are there, and I approve of it. But it's not all well executed. So there is that. And also, like, as a gay person, watching people who told me they love Iceman forever suddenly abandon their love of Iceman as soon as he was gay is a painful thing to watch, you know.
Well, here's my respect for that position is I dropped Iceman quickly because the writing to me made him a character that I had not enjoyed as a character previously. He was a different character in that book. Iceman continued to be the Iceman we know every time he showed up in the other X titles.
Yes.
Right? Because he was just there to fight a battle or to support his friends, or, you know, and, you know, oh, in this scene, he just happens to have a boyfriend. That's fine. He's still Iceman. But that Sin of Grace run was just like, to me, it's just
I'm not even getting
where it needs to be.
Sin of Grace run. My pain is in watching people just abandon their love of the character.
Yeah.
Period.
Well,
you know?
I think my love of there's only one character that they ever said, oh, well, this character's gay now. And it hurt me personally. And that's Kitty Pryde. Because not only did movie Kitty Pryde become a dude, now Kitty Pryde exclusively dates women. And since childhood, my dream of marrying Kitty Pryde and just hanging out with her and Lockheed on the couch on a Sunday, you know, watching trash TV and eating ice cream. That's what I want.
I want to remind you, you could still eat pussy with her because she is bisexual. She is bisexual.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't want that kind of competition.
Oh my God, Paul, you walked in at the right time.
I don't want that kind of competition, to be honest.
You know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I have friends who have bi wives, and they tell me it's the greatest thing ever.
I'm selfish, Cliff. I want all that attention on me. I don't want to share.
All right. Hi, Paul. Welcome to Bisexual Friday.
What's going on, Paul?
All right. Let's go on to my next favorite segment. It's time for Rated or Hated. This is the 4-year retrospective brought to us by Cover Price. We're going back to the year 28. Wait a second. Am I reading this correctly? Yes. We're going back to the year 2021, looking back from 2025 at number 10. 4 years ago, Black Panther, number 5. Rumors of Shiri actress Letitia Wright taking on the mantle of Black Panther fueled the price jumps for this book. Sir, this is how we play it. You, as the guest, decide if we rate it or hate it. And if we rate it, you rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. With 1 being like, sure, somebody out there will enjoy it. And 5 being like, this is a must-have for collectors. Are you ready, sir?
I know how the game is played. I've seen this show before. I am ready. I think that I'm going to rate this. I'm going to rate it a 3. I think Black Panther has its niche readers. This is a good series for Black Panther. Is this a J. Scott Campbell cover?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, this cover is just more proof that J. Scott Campbell can't draw men. But beyond that,
but can draw women for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got his wheelhouse. I think that if you're looking at this as an investment comic, I think the timing is wrong. But if you're looking for a quality story with a quality character, this is right where you want to be.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to step it up 1. I'm going to give it a 4. Because I feel like this is just a good lore collectible, right? And it's a well-written series at the time, and it's part of a good overarching story. And
Storm's a little too light-skinned on this cover, though.
There's fire around them. Of course they're looking light-skinned. Come on, man.
I'm just saying, like, I think I like my Storm with a little bit more melanin.
Well, then you should get the new J. Scott Campbell cover that came out this past week.
I like it.
All right.
It's on my to-do list.
Seabizzle gave it a 5. You're giving it a 3. I'm giving it a 4. I really like it. All right. Next up for Rate It or Hate It, coming in at number 9, an old fan favorite, Ghost Rider number 28, Rise of the Midnight Suns, Part 1. Rate it or hate it?
Yeah, I'm a hate it. When did this book get out of the dollar bins? August 2021.
Yes.
And now it's back down to $9, which is like way too much to be paying for a book of this era in a poly bag of that quality. I remember selling some of these books during the pandemic, these Rise of the Midnight Suns books. And back when I was making money off of them, rated a 5. But I mean, as far as the Midnight Suns go, I think this is probably the bottom of the barrel with these characters.
But this is the beginning of their origin. You know, Seabizzle is giving it a 2. You're not rating it at all.
I am. Yeah.
In honor of you, we won't rate it. But, you know, I have my thoughts.
I mean, a 9.8 at 350, like that is insanity.
Well, that was the height of COVID, and that sale probably was one of yours for all you know.
I know
you didn't grade them. I get it.
I'm not getting any of these dollar bin books graded, no, but
he has the whole run. There we go. All right, next up, another controversial comic book, but this one with a very specific variant cover. It's The Amazing Spider-Man 554. Rate it or hate it?
I'm gonna rate it, and I'm gonna rate it a 5. I think that One More Day is not great overall, but this is a cool variant cover with Mephisto, the fucking devil. He's on there looking dope. And this is maybe not the best Spider-Man story, maybe not the best received Spider-Man story, but as far as importance to the future of the character, it's definitely a key issue.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to just straight up hate it, but I would give it a 3. 2 parts for the importance of the story, 1 part for this is a fabulous cover. So that's as far as I'm going to go.
This run of covers was actually pretty good.
Listen, for a story that trashed a character that I love, you know, it did some good stuff. Ooh, the next one is super weird. Apparently, the next one on our list is from 2010. It's a continuation of the One More Day storyline as Mephisto deal with Peter was revealed in this issue. 4 years later, this book shot up in 2021. Blah, blah, blah. But anyhow, yeah. So One Moment in Time, The Amazing Spider-Man 638. Rate it or hate it?
This is the point in time where I was reading less Spider-Man than ever. So that One More Day, like I rated it high because it pretty much ended my love for ongoing Spider-Man. But this I'm gonna rate it. It is a key, but I'm gonna rate it low, maybe a 2.
I am also looking at Seabizzle 3 for Spider-Man. I'm giving it a 2 as well, because you know we're at where we're at. Next up, painful, man, painful. At number 6, it's the A cover for Amazing Spider-Man 545.
That's an ugly cover. It's just an ugly cover.
Yeah.
I'm going to hate it.
You're going to hate it for the ugly cover?
I'm going to hate it. That cover is awful.
You know what? I love that I have a chance to hate it, one of the versions. So, yeah, I'll take it. Next up at number 5, it's Werewolf by Night from 2020. This is a very different take, I believe, on Werewolf by Night. Blah, blah, blah. This spiked a few years ago when they announced the Werewolf by Night special on Disney Plus.
This is the one that popped.
Like this happened to be one that popped at that time. Yes.
Look, 2020 Werewolf by Night sounds like something that would be completely in my wheelhouse. The fact that I never read this book and don't remember it leads me to believe that something was telling me not to buy this, so I'm gonna hate it.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, and I'm with you on not having known much about
who wrote this.
This book marks the first appearance of Jake Gomez, a Native American with a connection to lycanthropy through his tribe's lineage.
Yeah, and I hate it already.
Yeah, so he was not the standard.
It's like, you make a new Werewolf by Night. Okay, all right, that's fine. Tie it to something.
And I'm pretty sure we've never heard of this character ever again.
No, it's like one of those things. It's like, where did it come from? Where did it go? Like, well, Cotton Eye Joe, nobody wanted it, nobody needed it, nobody bought it, so you shouldn't have made it.
At number 4, we changed things up. 4 years ago, Deadline reported that Jake Gyllenhaal would both produce and star in an adaptation of Oblivion Song. Rate it or hate it.
I love this book. I love this book. This might be Kirkman's best story. It's fantastic. I think the fact that we've gotten so much Walking Dead and Invincible's blown up the way it's blown up, why Oblivion Song hasn't become something yet is beyond my understanding. It's a really cool story. This is a really cool book. Pink Signature variant is one that I have. I did have the exclusive where it was like the first 3 issues that they sent to comic stores as a preview. I had 2 of those and sold them both. And I'm a little upset that I did so, but this is a 5 for me.
I like the series very much. As usual, Kirkman produced. I'm giving it a 4. Oh, look at this, a 2.
See Bizzle.
Yeah.
Oblivion Song.
Maybe 4 is too high. I think I'll go 3. Only because I can still stand by the fact that this is definitely not for everyone. But it's a really good story.
Yeah, for all the trappings of this story, you can talk about the government intrigue. You can talk about the swapping of places with another dimension. You can talk about the alien invaders of that dimension. But this is a story of 2 brothers and the humanity between them, their conflict before the incident, their growth after the incident is just is a really fun story about people. And in the way that the strength of The Walking Dead wasn't the zombies, it was the people. It was the relationships between the people that is relived here in Oblivion Song, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think Kirkman does even in Invincible, the story was very much about the people, but it was balanced with these intense moments of action.
Right. I like Invincible, but I think that as far as a writer, it kind of gives Kirkman a cheat code, because with Invincible being an homage to superhero stories, he can basically just reach into superhero continuity anywhere and grab something and be like, we're going to use this month. You know what I mean?
But he didn't, though.
I think he did in a lot of ways. Like that first volume of Invincible it's basically like if Superman came to Earth and his father was with him. You know what I mean? But the Mark's experiences and the way he handles things and his relationship with his friends is very, very OG Spider-Man. It's very ripped from Amazing Spider-Man words. And I think that he does a good job of playing, Mad Libs with the homages he takes, but being a superhero story with an expanding superhero world, there's a lot of ways that you can be cheap about it, and I think that he didn't do that with Oblivion Song. He didn't really even do that with The Walking Dead. I don't think he did that with Outcast, which I thought was really good as well, but failed as a television property, but I think that, yeah, with Invincible, I don't want to say, I don't want to take away all the credit that the guy gets, because it's a fantastic story, but it definitely, I don't think that the level of difficulty writing that story is on the level of writing something this wholly original.
Okay, I'm gonna give you that this one is more wholly original, but I think there was a great level of detail that went into Invincible, because it starts as the story you describe, and it turns into a story that like transpires like across space and time, like,
oh, I don't disagree.
It's like so much more happens. But Oblivion Song, totally worth it. People should at least pick up the trade. The trade is definitely available.
First trade is really good, but doesn't give you a really great picture of where the series goes as a whole. It probably takes about 2 trades to really get into it.
Yeah, but I think
that's what I recommend.
I think the first trade is a solid setup, at least.
Oh, it's really good, but I think that the story becomes so much more than what that original trade gives you. I think that after 2, it really opens up into the story.
So basically, this whole conversation has told us that Hickman needs 12 issues to warm up, no matter what he's working on.
No, well, that would be Kirkman.
No, not Hickman. Kirkman. I'm sorry, I interchanged them.
Hickman writes one infographic, and I'm in. Like, give me one map with one bullet point on it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. He thought about it.
Next up, sadly, at number 3, we return to the Amazing Spider-Man with Amazing Spider-Man 641. This is the end of the One Day More arc. Rate it or hate it.
I'm going to rate this a 5 based on the cover alone.
The use of negative space is cool.
The MJ's hair.
Yeah, I mean, I approve.
I as somebody who noodled around with the pen and pencil, fancying myself somebody who could possibly draw a comic one day as a younger individual. Anytime an artist nails a woman's hair, I'm just like, well, I'm fucking astounded by the fact that you made that happen. And yeah, I love that. I love this.
And I think it's cool, and that's why I'm giving it a 3. But also, my feels and the storyline are all twisted into it. Oh God!
Yeah, it's not the greatest story.
Speaking of my feels, Amazing Spider-Man 544, which is part 1 of One More Day.
Why is Cover Price giving us so many subpar Spider-Man offerings?
Because this is what was on fire in 2021.
Was that had to do with the reveal of Peter Parker's identity in the what was it, in the movie?
Yeah, in what is it, No Way Home or Far From Home?
Far From Home.
Yeah.
Which ended up being a non-starter because they went ahead and pretty much undid it in the first third of the next movie. But I'm hate this. Like, this cover is not terrible, but doesn't, like, with all this text on the cover, you'd think it'd make me want to read it, figure it out. But nah, look, I got a lot of love for that last cover. This one, it can kick rocks.
But the comic itself,
I didn't read it.
Okay, well, moving right along to you're gonna love who's at number 1, baby. You're gonna love it. Number 1, it's Back to the World of Jake Gyllenhaal. It's the green signature of Oblivion Song number 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate it a 5, same as the other.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what color signature you get. This is a must-have book. Or get the trade, or read it digitally.
I say get the trade. I mean, like, it's out there.
I mean, is it investment-wise? Look, I'm going to be completely honest with everybody here. With the exception of a handful of books, investing in an image title is the dumbest thing you could do. It's the dumbest thing you can do. For every Walking Dead number 1, There are 400 million number ones. They're great stories, self-contained 6-issue runs, fantastic art, fantastic covers that are worth absolutely nothing. It's upsetting.
It is brutal, but also, I mean, I want the pink signature. I want the pink. The pink signature goes back up to a 4 because I like it more.
Well, the pink signature is going for what, like $9 now, as opposed to 4?
Oh yeah, no, it's the same. It's the same crap. Yeah,
right. So, it was up to 40 instead of 30. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but that's
it. The fact that this in the 9.8, right? New Kirkman book, right? Big story, went for what, 36 issues, something like that. You know, not the longest run of all time, but a solid chunk of story. It's a complete story. The art, what is it? Is it Felici? Lorenzo? Well, I can't remember his name. The art is just, it's colorful and dreary at the same time, and this really strange style that's stylized, cartoonish, but also has like a bite of actual horror to it. Really good, man. I really enjoyed this story, and I think that it's a must read. But $32 for a 9.8 number one, like it cost $28 to grade it and $3 to ship it. So, I mean, you're only spending $1 extra. $1 for, that makes sense. $1 for the book and $31 to have it graded and shipped.
Yeah, for real. I mean, just snap. If you find it's graded for 32, just snatch it up.
Yep. Under 50, I think, would be a good number, but seeing how low it is currently, it's like, oh, maybe it's definitely a buy time for that. I'm not much of a slab guy, to be honest.
And I live in both worlds.
I did for a while, man, but it's like I have so many raw books. Like,
as do I.
Yeah, I could sell all my raw books and get a couple of really nice slabs. It just seems like a lot of work.
You know, but it's really funny because I think I've explained this many times before. My slabs is like the trophy edition of my collecting.
Yeah, I feel that.
And like I either have the real book or I have a trade, and so I have the stories, and then this is just like,
yeah,
and I have it. First Monica, bitches, it's there, you know. So,
feel that.
5 pink and 2 CGC, 9 pointing greens. Wow, Barbarian. Wow.
2 in the pink.
1 in the stink.
That's the case. Wash your ass.
I know, right? But also bisexual wives, everybody. Where's my Mia? All right, that brings us to a conclusion on Rated or Hated. Which means now I get to throw you back into the hot seat. You were given one true homework assignment, and that was to bring 5 books with the theme of your choice for the 5-finger shuffle.
I cheated. I didn't listen to your instructions, and I threw caution to the wind. And I actually have 10 books, but they are themed together, so I'm going to show a few in groupings.
Do I look like Gary B?
I'm going to be quick. All right, I'm going to be quick because I'm going to start with 2 in a row that show off my favorite heroes.
Ooh,
that's the first Captain Marvel right there. And you can even read it right there. It says the first appearance of Marvel, the real Captain Marvel. Gotta love my LCS for the stickers he puts on things. And I follow that up here with the first appearance of Carol. Because the theme that I had for my books was transformation. And I'm going to show you that through a couple different things here. And I went ahead and threw in a little bonus as well. But transformation, let's go ahead and take a look here. There's Carol in all her glory. Look at, right?
I love
and
it.
Carol never looked better until she
Until her
switched
new
costumes.
costume.
You got a new costume, and that new costume is so great, in my opinion, that it lasted for a number of years until she got a new costume.
And took the name Captain Marvel for herself.
Took the name Captain Marvel for herself, right? And in the interest of new costumes, when Marvel's costume changed,
Hey,
in issue 17, Unchained, breaking the chains. This guy can't be chained down. So as far as Captain Marvel being my favorite hero, I love Carol and what she's done with the moniker. I love her as a character, and Marvel, man, what a great character, and and the introduction of my favorite villain happens in this story. People want to talk about Iron Man 55, like the Thanos in that book isn't an android. He is. It's not the first appearance of Thanos. See this right here? That's the first appearance of Thanos. He's right there.
oh, nice.
Number 26. Oh, you get Marvel and the Thing. You get Thanos.
Wait, when do we find out that the first Thanos is actually an android?
At the end of that book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the end of Iron Man 55, it's like he's not real.
That's pisser. How
right?
dare? How dare?
27 there. Look at that.
Yep, I love that. I love that Star Fox is there, but we don't call him that yet.
Yeah, but that's his first appearance right there.
Yep, Eros.
More great Thanos here in 28. That's a great little run there. And then 33 is one of my favorite covers.
Yep.
Of all time. And anytime I see this book at a reasonable price, I'm buying it. I've got probably about 7 copies of it right now in varying grades.
In varying grades. All right. I see.
Yeah, and this one here is the one that probably had the least amount of stickers and funk on the Mylar. So I was like, yeah, I'll just use this one. But yeah, man, Captain Marvel is, for me, top tier storytelling. You get great interaction with the other heroes in the Marvel universe. You get some of the best villains in the cosmic side of things, and it's just a really well told, well crafted story. Some of my favorite creators working on these stories, and I my Captain Marvel collection is probably my favorite corner of my collection right now.
I can't disagree. I love me some Captain Marvel. I love all the Captain Marvels. I even love the new Ms. Marvel.
I like Ms. Marvel too.
Yeah. How dare
Greg Horn Ms. Marvel covers from the early 2000s too that I wanted to add, but I was like, I can't grab everything.
No. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I have my special feels. But
all the hate that Captain Marvel gets these days is unwarranted. All the hate that Brie Larson gets is unwarranted.
Oh, the hate that Brie Larson gets super unwarranted. The hate that Captain Marvel gets mostly unwarranted, but also Marvel should just do a better job with that character. I mean,
we've done a really good job with her recently in recent years. I think the Kelly Thompson run.
Yeah, Kelly Thompson
really
was good. Kelly Thompson and Kelly Sue Dominic have each done.
Kelly Sue DeConnick did the first run of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And then she didn't do the second run. I can't remember who did. But then they kept doing these mini series with her that just really didn't materialize into anything. And then when Thompson got on the book, she just had a love affair with that character. It's just a really well put together, well crafted story, and had so much fun writing that character that she took a pay cut to keep that book running. Which, in my opinion, shouldn't have been the case at all. It should have been one of the best sellers at Marvel. But she was also going through, as a character at that point in time, all the hate that Brie Larson was getting, which I could run my mouth all day about how much I love that woman and support her as an individual as well as a great actress. She's in the slideshow for sure. But beyond that, the Civil War 2 did a lot to discredit Carol as a character.
Yeah.
You're going to give me Amanda Connor covers every week. Like, fuck, I'm in. I don't even care. I would have bought that entire run for the Amanda Connor covers alone if the story was trash. Just so happened the story was fantastic. I've been talking with Darth Lopez about getting together and doing a show about that run for months now. We just haven't had a chance to schedule it, but yeah, I'm a huge proponent of that Kelly Thompson run of Captain Marvel, and yeah, and the OG Captain Marvel, man, like the one death in comics that is stuck. Like they've even brought back Uncle Ben in certain ways so far. You know, it used to be like AC, Bucky, Uncle Ben, can't touch him. They've back. Where's Marvel? That fucker's still dead.
I am not a big fan of these Amanda Connor covers.
Well, you can like what you like. I like what I like. I love Amanda Connor. I think her work is impressive.
Oh, I love Amanda Connor.
Her run on Supergirl.
And look,
her run on those Supergirl variants where every issue had crypto on it was just like, oh, what, are they flying through space eating ice cream sundaes? Like that makes no sense, but I'm in. Supergirl, crypto.
I love what she did. I love what she did with Power Girl. That's what I love.
Yeah,
and I love how she had Power Girl like dealing with Vartox. I thought that was fantastic.
Those are great books too. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, that was like Power Girl and Harley, right?
She was doing Harley at the time as well. I don't know if they crossed over.
No, they definitely they were like a duo for a hot minute.
I didn't read the whole thing, so I could be wrong. My DC knowledge at the time is spotty.
Yeah, that was that was a whole series, and Vartox was a big part of it, and how freaking hilarious.
What was the there was another series that was a spin-off of Power Girl she was doing the covers for too.
A spin-off of Power Girl? When does that
happen? Oh geez, I don't even remember. I might be misremembering it, to be honest. I'm picturing something in my brain that might not ever exist.
Yeah, I don't know, but I can assure you that this series was very real. Right here. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm remembering this now.
And Vartox is
issue 4, I believe I have.
Vartox is there.
And issue 6 is issue 5. Issue 6 is the Star Wars homage.
Yes. Just brilliant Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti insanity. Wow, there is so much Star Wars-ness happening. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reverse Jabba.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. You ever pull a reverse Jabba?
Squadron. 1-Star Squadron. Did you read that?
No.
That one's really sad. Red Tornado runs the 1-Star Squadron agency where basically you pay for a hero. But anyhow, like I like it because it played with like the storytelling of Justice League International, where it's not all too serious. And some of these characters, it's like you hire a hero because you need protection, or you hire a hero to show up at a birthday party, you know? And of course, some of the heroes had sadder stories, like the Minuteman, who was a sidekick to Our Man, except he only had the powers of Our Man for 1 minute, not a whole hour. So there was that. The thing is, like, the story is, I wanted to like read the story, but like the story is like a bit of a downer, you know?
Yeah.
And then, of course, it doesn't quite make sense in continuity.
I don't mind a downer story as long as it gives me something to grow on. You know, if the drama gives me something to think about long term, you know, that's
I think it gives us something to think about in this in like the sense of performers, you know, and like people are trying to make a buck, and you know, all right, yeah, I'll do a cameo, like that sort of thing. Except like this is the superhero sprinkle on top, so it's not just that somebody will hire you for a cameo. It's that they're like, oh yeah, perform my kid's birthday party, or oh wow, my city's on fire and no one's coming. Can you send ice or somebody? Oh, my Lord. All right, sir. I am reaching that point where I am crashing. And this is the part.
It's about that time.
Where you get to tell everybody what you're up to and what's going on in your channel.
Man, nothing really going on my channel. I'm kind of in a holding pattern. But I'm 16 away from 700 at this point subscribers. So if I get to that 700 subscriber mark, I'll do something fun. And hopefully that'll lead into me doing more things more often. But you can find me hopping on any live stream that will have me. I am a ring rat around here. You know, I'm going to latch on to whoever's doing something fun. If you're having a fun conversation and you need me to hop on and tell you that you're wrong, I'll do that. That's right now. I like to show up and disrupt with my hot takes.
I have a legion of people at my disposal to show up and tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's true. You know, keep your eyes peeled around the usual spots, and you know, I'll show up. That's how that works. But yeah, as far as making my own content, it's just it's on the back burner right now, and which is why I enjoy doing this show, because I could come on and you do all the heavy lifting. I had to pull a couple books out and talk some shit. It's pretty easy. I mean, there, man.
I like to think we're having fun on this show.
I'm having a good time.
There you go.
Yeah, we had people in here. Chat was blowing up. We had good conversations.
See, Bizzle, very supportive. I love you, man.
He's couching and slouching over there.
He is. He's the best. The absolute best. Damn. So every once in a while I look at the XP leaderboard.
Oh yeah.
But like Jay Margolis is at the top with 3,250 experience because of that super chat he made.
Yeah, Jay made a mortgage payment there.
Yeah, well, it certainly can go to the it's certainly going to help the food pantry. That's going to be great.
There you go.
You know, so which they've been enjoying my poultry donations, you know, my pittance. But like,
it's a pittance, but also all made out of poultry. It's all
not made out of poultry. Oh my god,
it's all chicken.
No, but like I asked them, I'm like, is straight cash the best way, or do you want me like get you like a ShopRite card, because like they're not affiliate, but like they have a deal with them. So they get to buy things at cost, right?
Okay.
So I was like, does it have to be cash? Would you prefer if I got you the gift card? Like, what makes things easier for you? You know? And they're like, whatever you want. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate hearing whatever I want. Whatever you want, you tell me. Right. You know?
I'm doing this for you. Give me some sort of guideline.
You know, but there's that. We've got Comics During Cancer coming up. I've got my annual toy drive in December. There's a lot happening.
Keep giving back, man.
I believe, you know, giving back to community is, I think it's important no matter what you believe in.
So just a little bit of a side before we get out of here. Like, I really love how much the community has gotten into charity, right? It's kind of always been a thing amongst the community, but like a lot of us get a bad rap because there are a couple of slimy scumbags, right? And anytime you get into a hobby where there's profit motive, right? Getting a cheap book that you can then flip for a lot of money and like things of that nature, the scumbags will come out. The scum is going to rise to the top of the pond, and you might have to skim some off. But I'm not sure how much you know about what I used to do on YouTube a lot, but I was part of the Comic Corps, and we got monetized, and every dollar we made went to the Hero Initiative, right? Every super chat we got went to the Hero Initiative. Every piece of money that we raised while we were doing cons went to the Hero Initiative. It was something that we did because we thought it was a really good way to give back to the creators. It's probably the most direct way to give back to the creators. And not doing that stuff has kind of left a little bit of a kind of a hole in my giving heart. But giving the comics curing cancer, and the fact that you raise money for the food pantry, it's just there's so many different avenues that people have taken to really just give back to the community and do good. And I love to see it, and it warms the shivering cockles of my heart to see that stuff, and makes me want to give back and give more and do more. And it is inspiring to see that there's more people out here than scumbags who are just out for themselves, and that amazes me.
Well, whenever I think about the scumbags, and I often call them vultures as well, but whenever I think about them, I just think, like, why were you reading comics?
Right.
Like, if the stories that you fell in love with didn't like mold something powerful in your I don't know, like it helped mold the direction of some of my moral compass, right? And like I just don't, and other people, I just like, oh, you read it and just dismissed all the values that came with it. You thought it was a great story.
These are the guys that read exclusively Spawn, or you
like
everything's about the devil.
You would want to believe that, and then you'll be shocked when you're in their home looking at their stuff.
Yeah, but they might be collecting things that are worth money, but they're vultures, so they're
vultures. Really, and like, so one vulture I know, I'm not going to say his name here, but he has this exact same name of a musician, but the musician is a better person.
Billy Joel.
His collection, personal collection, the stuff he does not sell, right, is like 70s Superman, right, and 60s and 70s Captain America. Like, that's the stuff he loves, and he can tell you everything cover to cover of every issue. And then, like, I see him do stuff like show up at shows, rattle dealers, try to leave with huge long boxes. The first time I met him, he made some deal that I did not understand, and no one made me privy to. I worked at a comic book store a long time ago. And, you would think if you tell somebody to watch the store for you, maybe you tell them things like, oh, I have one customer whose discount is 55%. Right?
Right. That would be something that you impart.
So I tried to call the owner, couldn't get a hold of him. And, like, I was like, dude, I'm not selling you stuff at 55% off. I don't know you. I was given no instructions. I'm waiting to hear back from him. So the guy left super frustrated and angry with me. And then I came to find out that is the actual deal. And then I met the guy's like best friend. And then that guy too is a different kind of vulture. So anyhow, I've seen them over and over throughout the years. I don't really have a problem with them, but yeah, they're a vulture. They always come in, try to like scoop everything up, and then of course resell it. I did 2 filler boxes and then some at Terrificon from Very Gary Comics, and most of what I got was things I wanted in my collection and things to add to a future giveaway, to future giveaways.
Right.
Like, that was my master plan. So I don't know what the deal with people is, but that's it.
You know what? And as far as them not being able to impart any sort of morality from these morality tales that they read, it's the same thing as like the couples that are like, we're like Harley and the Joker. It's like, you have no idea how toxic you are.
Yeah, they don't. Every time people say that, it just blows my mind.
It's like, oh, so he hits you and laughs about it, and you're like, well, I guess this is okay, because that's the kind of conclusion I draw from this.
I have always been that way, but they have headcanon about them.
Yeah, it's
right.
true.
And they're in love with a headcanon. And I'm like, okay, but your headcanon is headcanon. Like their relationship is super abusive and super toxic. When I see people doing Harley and Poison Ivy, I'm way more supportive, you know, and not just coming from the gay thing, just because like Harley and her just have a much better.
Hey man, I'm straight and I'll watch that all day long.
I bet you will. I bet you will. All right, folks, it's after 10. It's after the 2-hour mark. We had a great time. I hope you did too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment after the video. Very much appreciate that. Wow, it's getting late. Thank you, folks.
Thanks
Drew,
for having me,
for being here.
Appreciate it,
everyone. Man. Yeah, have a good night. Peace. Peace and spread the love. There we go.
Yeah, spread that love.